Making headlines for this blue moon week of August 31st, the chess game continues. Moves are made, information released in bid to position the game for the final checkmate against the cabal. The world of Assange, some background information regarding the political maneuvering to get control of Julian Assange. Sharing the world. Keshe Foundation seeks release of technologies to the world without hiding it from the people. And an announcement. The team at Inlight Radio is expanding out in service to you, our planet, and our galactic families with details of an upcoming event.
With news around, upon, within, and beyond our planet, the program making disclosure official. This is Cosmic Vision News. Here is Jeffrey West.
Greetings and blessings to all. With the coming change of leadership in China and the U.S. over the coming months, the chess pieces appear to be moving into place for the final moves to put the cabal into checkmate. We have begun hearing more and more coming out of Asia, both in terms of 3D news and the more transformational 5D news that looks at the larger picture. A political change in China and the incoming leadership appear to be online with the creation of a new global system that not only honors humanity and the planet, but also is in alignment with the disclosure of our galactic families. There are stories of secret, sacred societies, ancient gold that has been hidden and now being reintroduced as part of a new global currency to solve global problems and reintroduce programs of prosperity, health, and abundance for all humans in preparation for what is now a shift in human and planetary consciousness. NATO countries are apparently being isolated more and more in their criminal desires to maintain fraudulent currencies and legal structures. In the U.S., there has been talk of both positive and negative military forces, the positive ones that are acting to help bring down the banking cabal and the secret shadow corporate governments worldwide, those that have been running the U.S. and global economic political shows. More and more, the mainstream media is beginning to break stories to help further the awareness of humanity to this cabal and that actions are being taken to bring them down. Several stories run by Russia Today, RT.com, over the last week or two have indicated that the good faction appears to be stepping into its public presence, with the chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff not only speaking out, but taking rather affirmative action. London's Guardian paper reported that General Dempsey as saying that he did not want to be complicit if Israel chose to strike Iran's nuclear program prematurely. Dempsey flew recently to Tel Aviv to tell Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as much. His recent actions have not been received well by Israel and those cabal members still attempting to maintain control. Recently, an alleged assassination attempt was carried out, presumably with Dempsey as the target. Dempsey was not injured in the attack, although several soldiers were. Messages from our galactic families have indicated that those who choose to step out and serve the light, humanity, the planet, and the disclosure of our galactic families would receive protection according to their soul contracts. The positive military appears to be taking steps towards bringing about changes that have been talked about for many months in alternative news circles, but have not been reported yet by the mainstream media, the new economy being one of those subjects, along with disclosure. Former Asian Bureau Chief for Forbes magazine Benjamin Fulford has indicated in his weekly message that the new Chinese government coming in this fall, headed by Xi Jinping, is already positioning itself for positive action against corruption. The White Dragons have apparently told the Asians and the BRICS plus 140 group of nations that the time has now come for a decisive move. Fulford indicates that along with the Chinese regime change, the changes in the U.S. will deal a decisive blow to the dark Nazi cabal. The people of the world want peace and to create an ideal planet. After this, the research money spent on war and mass murder will be dedicated to health, improved life, increases in biodiversity, and peaceful expansion into the universe. CVN received word this week that another step has been taken in the action of the Kanien'kehá:ka Mohawk workers in affirming their sovereignty from the cabal-controlled institutions of the Corporation of Canada. Actions have been taken against numerous entities acting and doing business upon lands that they are not lawfully allowed to do so. Jason Bowman, a citizen prosecutor representing the Kanien'kehá:ka Mohawk workers, outlines what has now been done.
So yesterday morning, the Kanien'kehá:ka Mohawk workers commenced an unprecedented operation which identifies and targets belligerent parties deemed to have acted unlawfully in respective lands within a Mohawk territory known as the Haldimand Tract. These Mohawks represent the head and leaders of the original Five Nations Confederacy and remain the lawful trustees and protectors of the Mohawk Nation's original copy of the Haldimand Proclamation of 1784. This entitlement, issued under the seal of King George III of England, states undeniable and outright ownership to the Mohawk Nation of the lands 6 miles deep from the mouth to the source of the Grand River, approximately 1 million acres known as the Haldimand Tract, for, quote, as long as the sun shall be moving in the heavens, and the grass shall be growing, and the waters flowing in the rivers, for them and such others to enjoy forever. The Kanien'kehá:ka have always maintained that this is Kanien'kehá:ka territory and Kanien'kehá:ka business, and that neither the Six Nations Confederacy, nor the Six Nations Band Council, nor the City of Brantford, nor the County of Brant, nor indeed any other party have any right to represent these people and their business within the territory.
Mr. Bowman went on to indicate that yesterday a series of lawful notices of intent had been sent out to numerous leaders and corporations around the region. And Mr. Bowman here explains what the lawful notice of intent is designed to accomplish.
So yesterday, a number of these notices were delivered to a number of parties, including civic leaders, mayors, international corporations, and also the elected Band Council and Confederacy leaders, notifying them as follows. We, Kanien'kehá:ka people of the Mohawk Nation of the Grand River, are Ongwehongwe, sovereign real people living on the banks of the Grand River under what some call the Great Law of Peace. Our land base of nearly 1 million acres, known as the Haldimand Tract, was given to us by the British for our military service and loss of our homeland in New York State. We, Kanien'kehá:ka people of the Mohawk Nation, have ceded neither land entitlements nor title rights to any portions of lands under our stewardship to you. Your actions have caused we, the Kanien'kehá:ka people of the Mohawk Nation, to put you on notice in respect of the following. Number 1, as an unauthorized party to matters pertaining to Mohawk lands situated within the Haldimand Tract, you are hereby directed to cease and desist from any and all acts which pertain to matters in respect of any land situated within the Haldimand Tract, including unlawful trespasses. Number 2, as an unauthorized party to matters pertaining to Mohawk lands situated within the Haldimand Tract, who has received notice of intent, you are hereby directed to register your full legal name, date of birth, and address for service with the Mohawk Nation of the Grand River within 96 hours at the Mohawk Workers Kanata office below, or retreat from all lands 6 miles deep from the mouth to the source of the Grand River, the Haldimand Tract, until such time as you have registered. As an unauthorized party to matters pertaining to Mohawk lands situated within the Haldimand Tract, who has been served a notice to cease and desist, you are hereby given notice of intent to commence proceedings against you for your trespasses pursuant to applicable provisions and within a tribunal of competent jurisdiction. And finally, any failure on your part to comply with any portion of this notice to you may result in further ramifications, such as the forwarding of your relevant details to Interpol and international authorities, and the commencement of proceedings without further notice to you. Govern yourself accordingly. And so essentially the Mohawk Nation has now commenced this operation with the aim of asserting their sovereignty over their territory and registering parties engaged in belligerent activities in order that we may compel these parties to cease and desist from their actions or face consequences, being expulsion and or a trial of sorts within our jurisdiction. So we have the tools in place to see this through, and the Mohawks have asked me to coordinate this operation on their behalf and with them in order that we may see justice served and we may see a return to the great law within the Mohawk territory, this 1 million acres known as the Haldeman Tract.
Mr. Bowman is in possession of an article from a local newspaper from 1994 when the former mayor of the city of Brantford, Ontario, one of the cities within this tract of land, acknowledged that there was an outstanding debt of some $250 billion at that time, and this was going to require the setup of a steering committee to investigate the negotiation of this debt without causing harm to the city, the nation, and the country. The debt is now over $700 billion, and the answer to me is very simple, and everyone wins except the cabal. The city pays $300 million for the development of free energy technology that is now available. Devices are put into houses and companies on the condition that 3% from houses and 10% from companies of the now non-existent electrical bill be paid to the nation until the full amount is paid off. People and companies are no longer enslaved to the cabal-controlled grid. The council look like heroes for helping both business and people, and they get to write off a massive debt as well as the entire project being better for our planet. What is not to like about this solution? In the coming weeks, more details will be presented about the actions being taken by the Kanekahaka Mohawks, and this precedent has the potential to help many groups around the world to move forward more quickly than ever before against the cabal-controlled institutions. In an article posted originally in Italian but translated to English, a blogger has attempted to explain the somewhat complicated links between the powers that be and Julian Assange. The story began as far back as December 2008, and the ripple effects are only now being felt in Europe and America. At that time, a growing fight began between Brazil and the United Nations that resulted in Italy being bumped out of the G8 group of countries and replaced by Brazil. As a result, a decision was made to abolish the G8, and the G10 would become the new standard. This, of course, ties in with the cabal desire to keep Italy and its power factions aligned with the NATO alliance of countries and the rest of the banking cartel worldwide. However, around mid-June, Assange realized that he was about to be deported to Sweden and be picked up by CIA agents from the US and not Swedish authorities. On June 19th, Assange entered the Ecuadorian embassy and enters into negotiations with various authorities. Assange and his group, not trusting the Anglo-American authorities, pull off two acts on August 3rd and 4th. On August 3rd, 16 months ahead of schedule, Argentine President Cristina Kirchner arrives at the International Monetary Fund headquarters in New York and fully pays off their loan to the IMF. The longer Argentine history can be read in the article. Unlike Iceland, Argentina chose to pay off the loans instead of going into default. The end message, however, was basically the same. Both countries resisted efforts of the cabal-controlled IMF, and both have returned to solvency and relative prosperity, thus proving conclusively that the IMF and the World Bank policies are toxic and dangerous. Immediately after paying off this debt, Kirchner lodged a formal complaint against the US and the UK to the World Trade Organization using evidence obtained by Assange. With its debts now paid, Argentina was now in a position to go after damages. Assange effectively became public enemy number one based on his information showing how the major G8 countries and the Vatican effectively cripple South American economies to strip them of resources and prevent their recovery. On August 3rd, Ecuador became the first nation in the Americas to apply the concept of immoral debt, the political refusal to pay foreign debts because they were made by previous governments through corruption. The Ecuadorian president, Rafael Correa, announced the cancellation of the debt as being illegal. With this announcement, the IMF literally stripped Ecuador of its status as a civilized nation. And according to former IMF Director General Strauss-Kahn, Ecuador is isolated. Or is it? The next day, the president of Venezuela, Hugo Chavez, announced his country would contribute free oil and gas to Ecuador for 10 years. 4 hours after this, Brazilian President Lula announced Brazil would give 100 tons per day of wheat, rice, soy, and fruit free of charge to feed the population for as long as it takes the nation to recover. By evening, Argentina had announced that it would give 3% of its beef production to Ecuador to ensure adequate protein for the people. The following morning, Bolivian President Evo Morales announced the legalization of cocaine for domestic production and collection, and free cocoa leaves to Ecuador, as well as a loan of $5 billion interest-free for 10 years. 2 days later, Ecuador denounced the United Fruit Company and Del Monte for slavery and crimes against humanity. Ecuador then proceeded to launch its own domestic and organic fruit label for production. Ecuador's President Correa is not a farmer like Morales, a trade unionist like Lula, or a military officer like Chavez. He came from an upper-class family and is an intellectual. He is a graduate in economics from Harvard. His first official act was to freeze all bank accounts of the Roman Catholic Church in the capital city of Quito and divert the amount into social welfare programs for the economically challenged. He brought charges against the political class of the previous government, many of whom were sent to jail. South America no longer plays the game of the colonialists, and they never will again. What Ecuador has done can be replicated in any African, Asian, or European nation worldwide. The bigger blow came on August 4th. The law firm representing Assange would choose to defend Silvio Berlusconi, allegedly the most dangerous enemy to the global banking system. The principal lawyer of this law firm, Spanish Judge Garzón, is himself notorious for going after organized crime. He has made it known that he is prepared to denounce several Western heads of state to the Court of Civil Rights in The Hague with charges of crimes against humanity and crimes against the dignity of a person. These actions may thus facilitate the changes in leadership that our galactic families have been talking about. The cabal thus has every reason to fear Assange and to have him extradited to the U.S. and put on death row. South America is cooperating and helping each other. Western governments are in fear, and the truth is coming out in all corners. It is an interesting article, very much worth reading for those who choose to read it. The links can be found on the blog site at greenprintforlife.org. As the southern part of the U.S. begins mopping up from the aftermath of Hurricane Isaac, it could perhaps also be argued that the Republican Party has a lot of mopping up to do in the wake of its convention fiasco in Tampa earlier this week. It was pretty much expected that the cabal establishment would succeed in getting its puppet candidates Mitt Romney and his vice presidential candidate Paul Ryan nominated at the convention. Numerous Ron Paul delegates attempted to get Paul's name back onto the ballot, only to be locked out due to last-minute rule changes by the GOP leadership that prevented Paul's name from being added. Although there are some sources predicting that there may not be an election this November due to the higher fifth-dimensional changes taking place, it remains to be seen exactly how this may unfold. Mitt Romney appears to be doing a very effective job of fragmenting his party, having now very successfully marginalized the Ron Paul supporters as they marched out of the convention in protest. Several mainstream sources, including the Huffington Post, the Washington Post, and several others, have now very openly begun criticizing the speech given by vice presidential candidate Ryan. Fox News has even gone so far as to say that Ryan was going for the world record in terms of the number of blatant lies that could be worked into a political speech. At least one unconfirmed report came out at the beginning of the conference indicating that marijuana was being found in the bedroom safes of the hotel rooms where Ron Paul delegates were booked. Paul delegates were also moved to the furthest points away from the stage. The announcer, reading out the vote count, would announce the Romney votes, but not Paul's. These are 3 of the alleged tactics attempted, on top of the rule changes to prevent Paul from interfering with Romney's self-proclaimed and unlawful coronation. Robin Kerner from the Huffington Post put in a positive article stating that Ron Paul won. His basis for this argument comes from the fact that the Republican Party leadership broke all the rules to get their puppet candidate elected. In Kerner's words, in a competition, when someone cheats, he gets disqualified. This disqualification does not make the runner-up the winner. Rather, it reveals that the man who appeared to be the runner-up had in fact been the winner all along. The seeds of political change are beginning to take hold, and this is one movement that many Paul delegates promise will not go away. As Dr. Paul himself has said, it was always about the movement and the message, not about him. Many people are becoming increasingly more aware of an organization called the Keshe Foundation. Based in Belgium, this foundation is seeking to make technologies available to the countries of the world on an equal basis, without preference. The foundation claims to have contacted most, if not all, countries, inviting them to send representatives to learn about the technologies and take them back to their countries. The foundation has also released a video now for the general population so they can be more aware of what is being offered so that leaders cannot try to hide the information from the people of the world.
This video is a short introduction to the Keshe Foundation and its technology, which is intended to be shared with you and everyone around the world. The world's governments already know about this technology, and it is very important that you also know about it, since it will change your lives completely. The Foundation. The foundation was founded by Meren Keshe, born in Iran and graduated as a nuclear engineer at the University of London. For the last 40 years, his research has focused on the dynamics of electrically charged plasma as a source of energy and gravitational fields. The foundation is registered as a non-profit organization in the Netherlands and has its permanent base in Ninove, Belgium. Being a space organization, the foundation's goal was the development of space technology such as transport, power generation, health systems, and nutrition for people traveling in space. This is how Mr. Keshe discovered how to produce and control gravitational fields. This discovery has hundreds of potential applications that could help solve most of the world's fundamental problems, such as shortages of energy, water, and food, and environmental contamination. The basic principle. It all starts with a new understanding of the creation of gravity and the ability to replicate it. When magnetic fields of similar strength interact, they can entangle into a larger dynamic spherical pack. As these dynamic packs in turn interact with each other, this creates gravitational and magnetic fields. Each magnetic field contains plasmatic components of the 3 basic types of matter: matter, antimatter, and dark matter. The interaction of these 3 matters results in a larger integrated dynamic system called the initial fundamental plasma, or the neutron. The neutron can decay into a proton and electron, with small fragments of the magnetic fields left over as light or energy. Note that this is not the model of physics taught at universities nowadays. However, such plasmatic magnetic conditions have been reproduced in simple plasma reactors during repeated experiments and tests, making it possible to turn a simple cola bottle into a plasma reactor. The discovery of these new principles enables us to generate and control energy and matter in different states as solid, liquid, and gas. Reputable scientists have assessed and accepted the feasibility of this method. For a more detailed explanation, visit our website and read our books. Health systems. As journeys in space will go further and last longer, space travelers will need a portable health system to help them recover from any type of illness. Human cells are made of a combination of plasmatic magnetic fields which form the structure of the atoms of hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen that are the building blocks of the amino acids in the human body. Our space health technology works directly with this plasmatic anatomic structure of the human body and shows it how to get back to its original state of health. The procedure works quickly with no tablets or injections and has no side effects. Numerous trials for this technology have been carried out with volunteers who had exhausted all other medical options. On our website, you can see testimonies and videos of these trials: ALS, cancer, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson, and gangrene. Visit our website to learn more about other severe diseases that we have processed. A form is available for appointments at our health facilities in Belgium. Other applications. The applications of the technology can be used to solve the world's most urgent problems. Energy. With this technology, it is possible to produce batteries and plasma power generators of up to 10 kilowatts that need no fuel and thus provide clean and cheap energy. Transportation. Plasma reactors with double magnetic fields generate magnetism and gravity and can lift vehicles and ships. Also, space travel under conditions similar to those on Earth will be possible. Environment. Using the parallel magnetic attraction principle, our systems can decontaminate chemical and nuclear leakage and can clean up CO2 emissions efficiently while creating clean water. Other applications. In 2005, patents were filed for over 300 applications of this technology, such as the creation of conductive materials for industrial processes. Learn more about these on our website. The goal of this video is to tell everyone the technology exists, it is here, and it belongs to you. As a non-profit organization, Stichting the Keshe Foundation is not owned by or dependent on any commercial organization or company. To ensure the technology is shared and to avoid chaos in the system, we seek to cooperate with governments willing to receive this technology and make it available to their people. Sad to say, we still encounter a lot of resistance of few powerful governments and corporations that feel falsely threatened by this technology. The foundation is peaceful, non-religious, and aims only to bring about new scientific knowledge, technologies, and solutions to the major global problems. It is important for you to know that it is your right to benefit from this technology. To do so, you can do the following 3 things. First, share this video so more people know about it. The more people know about this, the harder it will be to keep resisting or blocking the coming changes. Second, inform yourself further through knowledge made freely available on our website, video lectures, and documents. Third, ask the ambassador of your country in Belgium to attend our events and receive this technology so it can be made available to your country. A letter for this purpose is available at our website. The technology is here, and its methods have been proven. This might sound too good to be true for you, but it still remains a fact. The technology is yours, so make sure you get access to it and help make a brighter future for us all.
Several weeks ago, I commented on the use of channels as a source of information. I have been rather intrigued by some messages that I have received over the months asking me to stop using channels for whatever reasons they deem to be important to those individuals who wrote to me. It could be that they believe particular channels to be frauds, and yes, there is a very real possibility of this. It could be that some believe channeling in general to be fake. I'd like to explore that a little bit this week. First of all, however, let's address the use of channels on Cosmic Vision News. As I mentioned a few weeks ago, a channel really is not much different than a foreign correspondent for a major mainstream network, except that a channel does not have the backing of an influential corporation that many may consider credible. However, a foreign correspondent is equally susceptible to communicating messages that are not truth based on the agenda of those higher up in the media organization. Ultimately, it comes down to whether or not one chooses to accept the journalist's message as credible, and this may depend upon whether or not they consider the source, the media corporation, as credible. So the channel becomes the foreign correspondent, and the celestials and galactic families become the media corporation, so to speak. Likewise, the listener must choose whether or not he or she consider the media corporation to be credible. As I have indicated previously, when considering whether something is credible or not, is it communicating the energies that resonate most with you in what you are saying you wish to be in this moment of now? If you are choosing to remain in 3D, then you may resonate with more of the mainstream media and their messages, many of which are fear-based. If you are choosing to be a part of birthing the new consciousness, you may resonate more with the messages of love. Some journalists are considered more credible than others. Journalists like Dan Rather, who have stood up against the cabal media establishment, paid a price for speaking out. Other journalists play the game, thinking only about their careers and their salaries and reputations. Some channels are being paid by the dark cabal, but regardless of what these channels may say, those who are truly open and in a heart space can begin to discern that there is not the same level of love in some messages, nor do these messages have the same willingness to simply allow others the freedom of choice. Each channel and whistleblower is answering a specific call at this time to help with the awakening of specific portions of the populations. Although we may not agree nor resonate with certain sources, they serve a purpose in reaching out to certain individuals who are not yet ready to resonate with us or others, but they are ready to resonate with that particular source, and this is the beginning process of awakening and the process that is to be honored. I broke the rules of academic thesis writing when doing my master's degree in peace education from the UN-mandated University for Peace. I defended my use of non-traditional sources, and my advisor accepted my argument, and the university awarded me my degree. The university, however, neither recognizes nor does it support the message for global peace that my work and CVN advocate. Breaking the barriers within the traditional establishments is now happening all over the globe. My message was very different, and it was not accepted by the university. Does this make the message wrong? No. Does it make the university wrong? No. Does it make certain choices by individuals? Well, that's up to each individual to investigate on his or her own. Academia will not resonate with that which goes against its conventions until sufficient demand is made for such change. Standing up, however, means having to discern within oneself whether the mainstream message is sufficiently of love or not, if it is what one is now choosing to be. So, we discern with our hearts, but this flows from our own personal relation to life, the all that is. And if we are existing in separation, in fear, or any other energy that is considered negative, it becomes a bit more challenging to discern. Many humans are living in varied states of concern or fear, even if it is only the fear of the unknown or the not yet known. What exactly is channeling, and what makes it at least comparable in terms of its validity when approaching journalism? Darryl Anka has been channeling Bashar for over 30 years now. Bashar is a multidimensional extraterrestrial being who speaks through channel Darryl Anka, and from what we perceive as the future. Bashar explores a wide range of subjects with great insight, humor, and profound understanding of how reality creation occurs. First, I would like to share what Darryl himself has to say about how he became a channel. What I found particularly interesting about Mr. Anka's following message is the description of the ships which he first connected. If you haven't already guessed, yes, they are the same triangular ships with a black center that are now being seen worldwide and that I referred to on my newscast last week.
Hi, I'm Darryl Anka, and I would like to give you a little bit of an idea of how this channeling started for me. About 37 years ago in Los Angeles, on two different occasions, I had two very close broad daylight sightings of a UFO. And after I saw this black equilateral triangular ship about 20 feet, 30 feet on the side, first time about 150 feet away, and the second time about 70 feet away, I began doing investigations into UFOs because I really wanted to find out, now that I had seen something, what that was all about. And my journey led me to explore several different ideas in metaphysics. And eventually I was introduced 10 years after the sighting to a channel who was working at that time, and I went to their seminars and listened to the information. I thought it had a lot of value. But eventually the entity coming through that channel actually offered to teach a channeling class I went into the class not because I wanted to become a channel consciously, but because I wanted to understand how something like that could be taught, and I wanted to further my research into metaphysics. So I went into the class, which was about a 12-week course. After about 6 weeks of the class, which was basically a series of different kinds of guided meditations and consciousness exercises to put you in touch with whatever you wanted to use that energy for, in one moment in the class, before the entity was about to come back through the channel after a break, I had a very strong sensation that something was watching me. I didn't know what it was. I couldn't see anything with my eyes, but I had every other sense was telling me that something was looking at me. I was just sitting there with this feeling. I didn't tell anyone. As soon as the entity came back in and talked through the channel, he literally just immediately turned the channel's head to me and said, "Someone's here for you, ready to begin if you're ready." So I was kind of startled, but I said, okay, let's see what happens. And I went into the altered state that I'd been trained to go into through the meditations in the class. And immediately I received what appeared to be, or what felt like a download of information, almost as if somebody just slipped a CD into my head and everything was there. I understood that I had made an agreement to do this with Bashar prior to this life. I understood the UFO had been shown to me on purpose to get me to start learning what I needed to learn, so that by the time this time came, I would be ready to start the channeling. And there was a question also in the telepathic communication, which was, now that you know it's time to begin, do you want to still do this? And it was offered as a choice. And I had to think about it for a while, because I didn't really know if this was just a side effect of the meditation or some other strange occurrence going on in my consciousness. But I began to get enough unsolicited outside validation that I realized, well, something unusual is happening here. And again, I also remembered that what I had learned from the channelings that I had attended was that the information itself was the most important thing. I do not in any way, shape, or form insist that anyone has to believe that Bashar is real. I have no way of proving it. I have my own experiences, such as the UFO sighting and other things that have happened in my life that give me the validation I need. But I also don't really focus on whether Bashar is a truly separate, autonomous entity. If he is, then I know that at some point in the future they're going to make open physical contact with us and we'll have all the proof we need. But I think that they're also purposely staying in the background at this time to give us an opportunity to focus on the information, which again is really the most important thing, so that we can decide to incorporate that in our lives in whatever way we want to, without, in a sense, being forced to do it just because of their presence. They want to sort of keep a arm's distance and give us an opportunity to decide what it is we wish to believe about what it is they're sharing with us.
In another clip, Bashar was asked several questions, one of which was about the credibility of channels. I felt several of these points were meaningful, so I chose to leave them in this story, since some of these answers also refer to the discernment issue and about redefining oneself and one's beliefs.
With respect to the idea, not only of your individual paths, but also of your collective agreements, the concept of rising from the ashes is also connected simultaneously in order to move forward, in order to expand with the letting go of those things, those ideas, those concepts that no longer work for you, that no longer resonate within you harmoniously with your core self. And so rising from the ashes is all about allowing those old beliefs, those old definitions, those old ways of doing things, those old behaviors, those old thoughts, those old feelings, in a sense, to ignite and to reduce to ashes, to form the soil, if you will, for your rebirth, from which you will arise clean, renewed, refreshed, with new understandings, new perspectives, new definitions, new beliefs, new feelings, new thoughts, new actions, totally new personalities with totally new behaviors in each cycle in which you allow yourself to experience this reducing to ashes and rising from them in rebirth. You reinvent yourself over and over and over again, always in a new way, shifting from reality to reality, allowing yourself to truly be the light that shines through the eyes of countless personality beings, again in much the same way that the light of a projector flashes through the frames of a film, illuminating the idea, the experience, the illusion of movement, of space, of time, of change, in order to add that experience of change to your total being, so that you can understand and experience directly the mechanism of creation itself in all the ways that you can experience it eternally, infinitely, through a variety of forms that you will take even beyond this incarnation.
Speaking of seeds,
Yes.
a couple of my younger seeds are actually here today with me.
All right. Hello, younger seed.
They are being challenged by the whole belief of channeling and
So, they don't have to believe it. However, it just depends on what definition they have of it. Channeling is a natural state that all of you do. Anytime you do something you love to do, and you don't notice the passage of time at all, singing a song, making a painting, reading a book, anything you are immersed in that is your passion puts you in the channeling state. What you do with it is up to you, but it's a natural, altered state of consciousness. That's all it is. But you can discover that you can connect to other levels of your own consciousness or telepathically to other consciousnesses if you wish to use it that way. But you don't have to. You don't have to believe anything about what people say about it to get something out of it. This is why we say you don't have to believe in us. You don't have to believe we exist at all. The most important thing is, does the information work for you when you apply it in your life? Does it allow you to experience the changes that you prefer to make? That's the bottom line, and that's the only thing that's important here, is it simply gives you the ability, and you all have the ability, to get into an altered state where you have a higher point of view, you're making more connections, you're making more associations, you're seeing the bigger picture instead of being so myopic. You're looking from the mountaintop instead of down from the valley. And you can see more clearly the ideas of how everything interconnects, how everything works. Channeling is a natural altered state. You all have the ability to connect to source and download whatever information you need because everything exists here and now. That's all channeling is. You don't need to make a big mystery of it. It doesn't have to be some sort of gigantic spiritual or occult idea. It's a very natural, organic process, and that's all there is to it. And it doesn't matter what you believe as long as you're true to yourself. Every idea of what you might call an organized faith on your planet has some view or some portion of an overriding truth, an overall understanding or relationship to all that is, and represents a different aspect, a different expression of all that is. But because they set themselves apart or aside from the idea of all the others, then in a sense they simply represent that they have a piece of it. If all of them would simply blend together into a natural relationship or understanding, then you would have more of it. But each and every one is another way. Each and every expression that you call those kinds of religions or faiths is simply another way of forming a relationship to another aspect, another expression of creation, of all that is. Because you see, what Jesus was saying, what Muhammad was saying, what Buddha was saying, what Krishna was actually saying is that you are all Christ. You are all Buddhas. You are all Krishnas. Don't follow me. Be like me, because you are like me. Therefore, they never required the idea nor asked for the idea of followers. They were creating equals. And we're not creating religions. They were allowing you to simply find your own version of what they were reflecting as their natural spiritual state and relation to creation. Wake up. You know how best to wake up? Live your dreams. Don't just dream about living. Live your dreams, and you'll wake up.
So yes, for now, Until disclosure takes place and we can begin to have more concrete communications with our galactic and celestial families, CVN will continue to rely upon channeled sources that bring whatever appropriate message that is necessary in a way that is as loving as possible. There are two types of news that CVN works with. There is what I might call the five-dimensional news, and this is more relevant to those who are able and willing to see the larger picture unfolding in human and planetary consciousness. There is also what I might call the visionary 3D news. There are those who are going through their awareness growth at this time, and they realize that things are not working, but they may not be quite ready to embrace a fifth-dimensional or galactic perspective, and this is okay. The visionary 3D news invites listeners who may not be ready yet for a 5D message, but are ready to begin envisioning and creating a better 3D world, which has the potential to lift their awareness further towards the 5D. CVN was created to make disclosure official and to introduce their messages into a newscast format so that people could perhaps have a place to come that would summarize some of the highlights of the changes unfolding on the planet. A channel may not always get it right, nor will a journalist always get it right. Take what is meaningful and leave the rest. Some listeners seem to love CVN, but not the channels. I find it curious then why they continue to listen, when they could go to numerous other Truth Movement programs. What does CVN have, then, that they do not have? Arguably, I can only speculate, but from what some have said, they feel that CVN brings more love to its newscast. So some want the truth, and they want the love energies, but they do not want the reporters. Cosmic Vision is cosmic because of the celestial galactic reporters. It is the formula that makes this newscast unique, and the formula that represents the foundation upon which future journalism will be based. Future journalism, however, will also include more concrete and physical interviews as disclosure continues. I know my galactic family is here. Do you? I am ready to meet and to report and share all that they have to say and share with us. I am committed to a future of peace, harmony, health, and abundance for all humans as we create a new Gaia. Side by side, arm in arm, let's walk together in creating this, along with my colleagues at Inlight Radio. The Inlight Radio group of programs, of which Cosmic Vision News is a part, is very proud and excited to be making an announcement this week, as well as sharing two other pieces of information for our listeners and readers that relate to how things are going for our group and the direction we are moving in the coming moments of now in our service to you, humanity, our planet, and our galactic families. First of all, with our major announcement, Cosmic Vision News welcomes two hosts of our sister programs, Sierra Neblina from Let's Talk 2012 and Beyond, and Stephen Cook from The Light Agenda. Both have been working incredibly hard, as have all other team members who have contributed to this announcement being made this evening. So I welcome Sierra and Stephen to offer the exciting news to our listener. Welcome, Sierra. Take it away.
Oh, thank you so much, Jeffrey. It's such a delight to be on your radio show. Thank you for having me on here. So I just wanted to start with explaining how this conference came to fruition. I was speaking with Archangel Michael one day, and I was commiserating about the way that conference is set up, now. And what I mean by that is, people pay a bunch of money and they come to the conference and there's a whole bunch of speakers packed in, and if you've got to get up to go to the bathroom, or if you want to get up to, take care of your well-being at any point, eat, rest, you end up missing a bunch of people. And so another thing that I was, had as a conference goer myself, I witnessed, and also as a speaker myself that I witnessed over the years, is that the participants don't really get an opportunity to interact with the speakers at the level which I thought that the new paradigm was starting to bring. In the new paradigm, everyone is equal, everyone is one. It's a heart-based, heart-centered community thing, and it's people working together in tandem on issues, whatever those issues might be. And so I thought, what a wonderful idea to create an atmosphere around a conference where it was very intimate, where the participants and the speakers got to interact. As soon as the speaker was done, there would be an area or a time for questions for that particular speaker. And what would it look like if I could create a conference where it wasn't inundated with a whole bunch of speakers, but we had a smaller, more intimate platform for which the speakers would interact with the participants? And so I started to create this idea several months ago and put together how I would like it to come about. And I had originally written an article about this and posted it on the 2012 scenario about the new paradigm of the new conference. And so I got to speaking with Steve Beckow and Graham Douillet, and I started brainstorming one day, and I said, what do you think about having a conference that follows this new model where people can take care of their well-being and also interact with the speakers on an intimate level, where there is people come away from the weekend not only getting valuable information, but getting answers, questions answered. And so they were really open to the idea. And so the next thing was to then, what do we speak about? And the whole topic that we were talking about bringing to this is every aspect of the ascension process, basically the 2012 scenario, that, the topic that all the different topics and all the different speakers and all the different articles that are written on the 2012 scenario. Wouldn't it be great if we could get all of these people together in one location and put on a conference with this new paradigm and this new model for conference? And they just loved it. We jumped on it immediately. It's been in the planning stages for a couple months now, and now it's very exciting. We have it all set. We have all these wonderful speakers. The entire Enlighten Radio team is going to be present. So I am just so excited, Jeffrey, for this conference. It's just going to be something fresh and brand new.
Now, I understand you're involved in another network of individuals as well, and the energies and the message of that particular group is not lost on this particular conference, and certainly it is a part of the conference as well. Would you like to share a little bit about that particular network?
Absolutely. It's TWIN, the Walk-In Network, and it is a network of individuals, a networking network where walk-ins could come to be supported. But then I wanted to extend it past just walk-ins, because there's very little support out there for walk-ins up into this present moment. I am, though, starting to notice that there is a bunch of walk-in conferences starting to pop up this year, and it's really interesting because I was attempting to put together a walk-in conference, and that kind of fell through for September. But I noticed that there's one in Colorado and then one here in Phoenix this month, which is in September, which is really wonderful. But I wanted to extend it past just support for walk-ins, because I, in my own practice, help people that have had contact with our galactic family in whatever way that contact has been. So I wanted to create a network, a place where walk-ins could gather, star seeds could gather, and earth seeds could gather in one location and give support to each of those groups. And so I created TWIN, the Walk-In Network.
So now, as far as the announcement itself, Sierra, give our listeners and readers the opportunity to get the information about the conference itself. Then we'll move over to Stephen to get the other booking details.
Perfect. Well, as I said before, I wanted to create an atmosphere where everyone could really rest and be one-on-one with the speakers. So on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the October 26th, 27th, and 28th, the first 2 days is going to be filled with speakers and questions and answers. So the very first day is going to be a welcome. We're going to have a store. So there's going to be registration. The store will open. And then we're going to have the first speaker start at 10 a.m. Each speaker is going to speak approximately 45 minutes to an hour, and then there's going to be 20 minutes of questions and answers after each speaker. There's going to be 2 speakers in the morning, and then we're going to have a lunch break, an hour-and-a-half lunch break, which is going to be on Poco Diablo, the property of Poco Diablo, so that there is more exposure between the speakers and the participants. so that you can sit with the speakers, interact with the speakers, get to know the speakers on a personal level. And then we have 2 more speakers that Friday afternoon, and then we end for the day. We start at Saturday, again at 10 a.m., have two speakers in the morning, hour and a half lunch, 2 speakers in the evening, and then we're going to have a special presentation and a surprise for the participants on Saturday evening. And then Sunday we're going to have 1 last speaker, and then we're going to go to lunch and come back and have a panel for which all 9 speakers are going to sit up in front of the room, and participants, they're going to share. We're going to take turns each sharing a bit about our own personal life, what brought us to where we are, what our ideas about ascension and the process for ascension is, and the shift, all of the 2012 scenario topics. And then we're going to open it up for the people to interact with the speakers, and then we're going to have closing ceremonies on Sunday.
The 2 keynote speakers of the conference, who will be introduced to you shortly, offer their insights about attending the conference and Sedona in general.
It's an opportunity, as one would say, that's too good to miss. And I think what made up my mind was the fact that I'm meeting people that I know well through email contact, such as Susie Ward and Steve Beckhow. So I shall feel at home with those type of people, and as yourself, of course.
In commenting about the choice of the location for the event, Mike had this to say about Sedona.
Well, I know that it's a very special place with a very high energy. Many people that have been there have had very psychic experiences. They've been uplifted by the energies there. I believe on another side that there was, or perhaps still is, some sort of base within the mountains in that area. By base, I mean there's some sort of UFO connection. And of course, like a lot of people, I'm looking forward to the appearance of the City of Light. So who knows, perhaps it might delight us by appearing while we're all there. That would be wonderful.
Oh, I am thrilled. And I'm not only thrilled, I'm honored to have been invited and to have that opportunity to share the information I've been given with everybody who will be there. I am going through the proofing stage of a short but vital book titled Earth's Golden Age, Life Beyond 212. Everything that's in it is going to be the basis of what I will be sharing. I know that Sedona is associated with wonderfully high energy, always, because of its location. You just feel as if you're being embraced with love all the time. I think that it's absolutely a magnificent choice for this conference. I mean, we are going to rock. Right. We're going to go right off the chart in joy and excitement.
Stephen Cook joins us now with more information for our readers and listeners. Stephen, welcome to the show. Take it away.
Hi, Jeff. Hi, Sierra. How are you going? Well, Jeffrey, as Sierra has indicated, it's a very, very big conference, and it's going to be fantastic. Mike Quincy, of course, channeler of Salusa, is going to make his first appearance in United States. In fact, it's his first trip to America as he makes his way to Sedona. So he is going to be joined by Susie Ward, author of the Matthew books, as well as Matthew Ward, God, Haton. She channels all those. We also have Linda Dillon. Of course, people will know her from here on Inlight Radio as the channeler for the Council of Love and also the author of The Great Awakening. Our other speakers are favourites from the 2012 Scenario website. That's Steve Beckhow, the owner, and also the co-host of An Hour with an Angel, as well as Graham Duyer, our founder and producer here at Inlight. Yourself, Jeffrey, you'll be speaking as well. And, of course, Sierra, and also Dave Schmidt, Sierra's co-host on Let's Talk 2012 and Beyond, and, of course, the director of the Hope Chest. And also, I'm coming all the way from Australia, which I can't wait. Now, for people who'd like to buy tickets, it is live now on the 2012scenario.com. All you need to do is go to the website. If the story is not still sitting on the front page, the announcement, there is a ticket button on the right-hand side in the right-hand column. Simply click on that, and that will take you straight to a ticket ordering form. Now, tickets are $295 inclusive, and there is a slight processing fee, which is a banking processing fee of $11. But the tickets are $2.95, and as Sierra's just said, that includes a full gluten-free lunch every day. And look, I have to be honest, tickets are already walking out the door. We have already had sales whilst we've been talking here right now. So there are only 275 seats all up. So if people are interested, they will need to get in quickly. So that's kind of the basic details. Yes, tickets on sale right now, 2012scenario.com. And like Sierra, I am so excited, as I'm sure you are too, Jeffrey.
Absolutely. It is indeed shaping up to be a most wonderful event, and we at Inlight Radio are super excited indeed. The details again, the 2012 Scenario Conference being held in Sedona, Arizona in the United States, October 26th, 27th, and 28th. Be sure to go and get your tickets from the 2012scenario.com website. Sierra, Stephen, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing everyone in Sedona. Bye.
Bye-bye now.
And with an announcement about news coming from Inlight Radio, we go over to Graham Douillet.
Inlight Radio has experienced tremendous growth since its first show on December 12, 2011, about 8 months ago. We started with one show, An Hour with an Angel, which aired once a week, and we now have 5 different regular shows, 5 days a week, including, of course, Cosmic Vision News. And we have an amazing team of 11 people who host, produce, manage the switchboard, do show transcripts, and assist on an administrative level. We have over 8,000 listeners every day, and this month we will exceed 250,000 listeners. So it's really grown in wonderful ways. Inlight Radio is all about raising awareness around what's happening during this significant time on the planet with the shift, the unfoldment, or what is often referred to as the ascension. Our goal is to share hope and inspiration, truthful news, spiritual teachings, to raise awareness about our star brothers and sisters and all the really positive changes and developments happening on Earth. The work that we do is in partnership with humanity, but also with the heavenly realm and our star brothers and sisters. We now have a new logo that represents and embodies really well what we're doing with all the shows. Artist Anthony Morrison from Australia helped us to design this new logo, which you can see on the Cosmic Vision News show page. The image has a beam of light coming down through Inlight Radio and to the planet. This light represents the divinely delivered inspiration and information that comes through Inlight Radio as we work to build light on the planet. So we're really thrilled with the growth of Inlight Radio, all the really great support and appreciation we get from listeners, and we're especially pleased to roll out this new logo.
And that is the unfolding consciousness news around the world this week. Cosmic Vision News is a part of the Inlight Radio group of programs heard at this local time each week. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I'm Jeffrey West, reminding you to smile. It will either warm their hearts or piss them off, but either way, you win. Until our next moment of now, stay grounded in love, hold the vision of light and peace in your hearts, and keep your eyes to the skies. Disclosure is unfolding all around you. Namaste.
Thank You White Knights is supported by ExclusiveWellnessClub.com, home of wellness products for the health conscious such as MMS1 and 2, Lugol's iodine, DMSO, colloidal silver and MSM at ExclusiveWellnessClub.com, shipping outside the United States available. Link below. This is Thank You White Knights, and I hope you enjoyed this video. For updates and to go to the source of this article, please find the link below the YouTube screen while watching in YouTube. For the latest news and updates, please visit ThankYouWhiteKnights.com.